Shalom. The I.S.U.P.K. Washington, D.C. School under command General YAHANNA now has a call-in hotline for any and every question that you may have about the Bible. Unlike the Christian church, we are here to teach the truth about the Bible. Call in and get your questions answered from the real priests and prophets of the Lord. Call 202-989-1950. That's 202-989-1950. Shalom. Shalom.
To be honest and let you know that I screamed a little bit when I heard you say what's up, baby. Ah, man, like what are we gonna do? Because this is torture.
Just call my camp leader and request me. Just call my camp leader and request me. Just call my camp leader and request me. Call my camp leader and request me. Just call my.
From a spark to a flame, it burns bright. Like the feeling when you finally got my name right. Like a star in the dark, you provide light. Yeah, this could turn into something if we align right. I see you trying to change your life cause you want better. What I'm convinced in 6 months better is together. A story written for the ages, so in this short time, let's be open books. Explore pages like, are you down through all the changes? Jah finds out I'm an Israelite. I lose wages, how about the times and every month when you change phases? And after that, getting your cheeks clapped in different places. Matter of fact, I tell you now, you'll need leg braces. Cause after camp, do benevolence, sensations. And after camp, excavations and temptations. Move that damn hand, girl, that's a violation. Can you follow orders, I wonder? Cause when I'm mad, my voice sound like thunder. It's all love, my pretty dove, just want you to be something that I'm proud of. It's my job to correct, so never disrespect. A white rose, you want to be chose, I'ma hit your camp leader, see how it goes, and pray that he don't oppose, cause that's how this old UPK thing goes. Decently and in order so we escape woes. You really do impress me, and now I can't wait until your spirit reflects me. Look in the mirror and tell yourself you accept me, and take the steps to call my camp leader and
just
request me.
Call my camp leader and request me. Call my camp leader and request me. Just call my.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting excited. Oh wait, yeah, I'm getting excited. Yeah, I did hear that music.
Damn right, damn right. If you can hear me loud and clear, type a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me loud and clear, type a 1 in the chat. Shalom, Shabbat, YAHANNA.
Shabbat, sir.
Good, you sounding nice and suave. Right, let's see. Shalom, Princess Nazam. Shalom, Trooper Rogatia Allah. If y'all can hear us loud and clear, just go ahead and hit a 1. Hit that 1 in the chat. All right. See, he typed the 1 in. Seems like we good to go. All right, give me 1 second. Let me. Yeah. All right, well, let's clap it up. All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Barakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathun Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization, and we teach the truth according to the Bible. And what is the truth? There's only one truth. You understand? There's no such thing as we all have a piece of the truth, and we got to bring our pieces together so we all can build the truth. That doesn't exist. That is not the Bible. That's not biblical. That's something that you made up because you're Christian, because you're American. You understand? Because you believe in democracy and all things. And that's why your house is out of order, because you think everybody has a say so and that everybody gets a vote. That's why your neighborhood is out of order. That's why your community is out of order. That's why our nation is out of order, because we are too busy trying to be like America. We're too busy trying to be like our oppressors instead of being like our forefathers in the Bible. You understand? The Lord said there's one truth. There's only one way through the Father, and that's through Christ. And the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under commanding General YAHANNA, is the organization, are the men set up on earth through whom you follow Christ.
Right.
You understand? Amana Bop, I see you. Black Dazzle, young man Kev. First of all, before we go any further, let's give the 56th annual Passover. Let's get that in hand. Oh, I don't know about y'all, but the entire time I was down in Atlanta, I enjoyed myself. The black party was off the chain. The lamb slaughter was off the chain. You know, I love anytime I get to put weapons in my hands and use them. You understand? So me and Captain Nakar, you understand, of course, under Commander General YAHANNA's guidance, we're able to slaughter actual lambs at the farm and skin them and do all the things that normally we would have to depend on someone else to do. But as you're seeing, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are becoming self-sufficient in almost all arenas. You understand? We already are owned by ourselves. You understand? Like Commander YAHANNA has always said, nobody owns him. You understand? He's not he's not ran by the oppressor. You understand? There's not some politicians or billionaires that secretly fund the school and make decisions about the school. No, that's not how this works here. You understand? And so it's a beautiful thing for us to now see us become self-sufficient in many other areas. You understand? We are already doing everything on our own. You understand? Through the brotherhood. Go ahead, Shapat.
It's like, if I could, I believe I got a precept on that.
Yeah. Excuse me. Read what you got.
And this little backdrop, this was Alexander the Great talking to Jonathan because he decided to make a covenant with the Greeks. And, in other words, they owned him. Book of First Maccabees, chapter 10, verse 20. Wherefore now this day we ordain thee to be the high priest of thy nation, and to be called the king's friend. And therewithal he sent him a purple robe and a crown of gold, and required thee to take our part and keep friendship with us.
You see that right there? That's the proof. And you know what, Shapat? Hold that scripture, because that goes into the topic of today's class. We're going to read that again. That scripture is proof of what the topic of the class is. Sellouts in the Christian church. The connection between the Christian church and sellouts. And like I said, really, there's always only been one Israelite group. There's the illusion that there's many Israelite groups, but in all actuality, there's only ever been one Israelite group, and it's the I.S.U.P.K. Everyone else is established or ran by our oppressor. In particular, to go off of this scripture, them purple guys, you understand, the purple is the clue. You understand, the purple is the signifier that they are ran by the oppressor. You have purple garments because you are in friendship with America. You are in friendship with the United States government and police. You understand? The I.S.U.P.K, on the other hand, we're not. We're not. You understand? We are completely separate from everybody else. We're completely different from everybody else. And all you have to do is just go see what they do and come see what we do. And you'll see for yourself. We are extreme. We are absolutely extreme. And all throughout the week, if you got to see the events that we had, you would recognize, oh, these brothers and sisters here are different. You understand? This is unlike anything I've ever seen. I don't know about y'all, but it's a miracle in itself for so many Black and Hispanic people to come together, and there is no incidents. Go ahead, Shapat.
So how to make a run?
Do your thing. Do your thing. It's a miracle within itself for so many Black and Hispanics to come together the way we do every year for the Passover, and there are no fights, there are no arguments, there's no child molestation, no rape, none of the things that happen at all other family functions that we have had in the world. And I know some of y'all don't want to hear that because you think your family is perfect and blameless. That your family, that happens at your family reunions, at your cookouts and barbecues. You may not know that, but that's what happens at all of your family events. In the UPK, that does not happen because we all have come together under one consent. And that one consent is we are going to serve our King Christ, Yahawashi in the Hebrew. You understand? Shalom, young man Steve, I see you. Super Ragash said, if anyone didn't make it to the Passover this year, just show up next year. Commander Yahanna is not going to turn you Black, Spanish, or Native Americans away. Commander Yahanna, for years, has given the order that all camps are to come home. All camps. You brothers that's in that Sakari right now, you understand? You in that Sakari, you know, and you are homosexual and you being pegged, you better leave that Sakari. You understand? You better leave that Sakari. You catch that's in that purple group and you having gay dance competitions and wiggle contests, you better leave that purple group. You understand? The Lord said he rather obedience than sacrifice. You understand? Matter of fact, let's get the precept. Shalom, young man Joseph, I see you. I'll get the precept for you. In the meantime, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, share the stream. If you attended the Passover this year with us in Atlanta, Georgia, type ATL in the chat. If you attended the 56th annual Passover with us this past April 12th in Atlanta, Georgia, type an ATL in the chat. Let's see who all made it down there. Let's see. Shapat, could you give me Ezekiel 33 and 11? Let's see who we got. Young man Kev. I seen young man Kev. Give him a hand. Shapat, they told me at the young man Kev came up to me at the black party, him and his real Black Dazzle. And they told me they already had spoke to you. I said, well, I know that's right. I know that's right. That brother and his real, and that's young man Kev and his real Black Dazzle are men and women of their word.
Right.
You understand? They are men and women of their word. Because we said on this class, if we see you, if you see us and you don't come up to us, we're gonna be offended. And brother, young man Kev, he spoke. Like I said, I'd never seen him before, so I wouldn't have known of who he was until he said who he was. And brother, it gave me so much joy to see him and his rib show up. And they was fly too, and they all black at the all black party. Right. You understand? Getting it in. Let's see who else we got. Chapat, of course, was there. Go ahead, priest.
What was that against Slaki? Ezekiel.
You frozen?
Ezekiel.
Frozen or you frozen?
I don't know who frozen.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Am I frozen?
Test 1 2. Okay, it seems like we got I think we got a slight delay going on, Shapat. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Okay, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Now I always can hear you. Is it me?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. We seem like we got like a 4 or 5 second delay between us, but it's a 12. We're gonna work with it. Okay, right. Sir. And so let's see who else we got in here. It's my bad, Shapat. Ezekiel 33 and 11. Young man Joseph, he said he was there. He said it was glorious, Adawan. Most High in Christ, brother, for making it down. Naamia, and Amanabath. Again, these are sisters of their word. You understand? I was walking on Shamar the Generals, and brother, they called me to the side and took pictures and they spoke. And of course, as friendly and compassionate and kind as can be. You understand? And again, we've been saying, me and Shapato in this class, if you see us and you don't speak, we're gonna be offended. And the
Right.
Imia and the Manabaf, they spoke, brother. And of course, I already knew them, you understand, but still, it was good to see them because, like I say, most of us, we always working and ripping and running back and forth. So anytime we get a chance to see those that we get to talk to in these classes or online, we get to see them in person. It's a beautiful thing, man. Go ahead, Shapat.
It's like if I may, and you know, not only did we have 16,000 viewing, you know, saying online, the Passover was so packed. I can understand if anybody didn't run into another person. You know what I mean? But just to know that everybody got up with you. You know what I mean? Everybody who could got up with everybody that could. That Most High Christ to that.
That's right. You ain't lying. It was a lot of new. You know what was so beautiful about this year's Passover? There were so many new faces.
Right.
There were so many new faces, and a lot of people, it was their first time attending a UPK Passover, which is the only authorized Passover, by the way.
Right.
Anything else that's anybody else is doing is not the Passover. I know y'all in your mind believe that you can celebrate the Passover on your own, and your stupid self made lamb and unleavened bread, and you got some wine at the house, and you think you're doing something. You didn't observe the Passover. The whole point of the Passover is to suffer. You understand, with your brothers and sisters. It's to be with your brothers and sisters. To make the pilgrimage. You stayed at home or you went with some fake Israelite group and y'all had some type of, banquet dinner. That's not the Passover. I hate to break it to you. You just had Sunday dinner on Saturday. That's it. You just had Sunday dinner on Saturday. What we had on April 12th in Atlanta, Georgia, you understand, that was the Lord's Passover, and it was glorious. Trooper Ragash, he was there. You understand? I didn't get to see him in person, but I heard he was there. And I seen a few pictures. He said, I ain't making it to every event. That's too wild, brother. You was there at the Passover. Kakam Imad, Shalom, mighty man, and congratulations, too, for graduating Hebrew Academy. You understand? Well done, Kakam Imad, and all the brothers that graduated Hebrew Academy 2025. Alicia Giddings said, false prophet, I had a wonderful Passover without I.S.U.P.K. You proud people. Alicia, I hate to break it to you, but baby, you didn't have the Passover.
Right.
You didn't have the Passover. You didn't. The reason why you even think it's wonderful, you didn't suffer, Alicia. Sitting at your dinner table, sitting at your dinner table and having a Sunday dinner on Saturday is not the Passover, baby girl. You understand? I hate to break it to you. You understand? You didn't have the Passover without the I.S.U.P.K. And here's the proof. You understand? I'll get it for you. Hold Ezekiel first. We're going to go here first. Get me Ephesians chapter 4. You can start at verse 4. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4. You understand? Those brothers in Hebrew Academy, brother, I'm telling you from my own experience, them brothers was fighting. You understand? This was a fighting class right here. I don't know what was in the air or what was in, I don't know, but them brothers this year, in all the years, I'm not saying the other class didn't fight, but I'm saying, you understand, for sure, the brothers this year made their election sure, and they were no cowards, just like all the men that graduated before them. You understand? Go ahead, Shapat, please.
Oh, God. It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
Stop right there. The Lord said, there is one body and one spirit. So now, Alicia, if you said you had a wonderful Passover without the I.S.U.P.K, and the Bible says there's only one body, who had the Passover then? Because the scriptures didn't say there's two bodies. If there's only one body, that means there's only how many Passovers, Alicia? Go ahead, Shapat.
And Sanaka, she also said that we had a proud spirit. There's only one spirit.
Yeah. There's only one body, one spirit, Keep reading, please.
Conquer, verse 5. The Lord, one faith.
One
One
faith.
Lord.
Uh-huh.
One faith.
Mm-hmm.
One baptism.
One Lord, one faith, one baptism. Again, Alicia, and anyone else that believes that they observed the Passover and they were not at the 56th annual Passover in Atlanta, Georgia. There's only one body, one spirit, one faith, one baptism. If you were not with us, you didn't have the Passover.
Right.
The same way, if you're not in the UPK, you are not in the truth. There's only one body. There's only one faith, one baptism. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 6. One God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in you all.
That's right.
Verse 7.
You can start right there, priest. Shalom, Shapar. I see you. Young man Kev said, if I may, I suffered through all those sodomites in my hotel to get to the Passover. Give young man Kev a hand for suffering what we all suffer. You understand? Suffering sodomites and lesbianites all throughout, brother. We went to some club Saturday night, I believe it was, and there was some lesbian stud security. She had dreads and she wanted to be tough so bad. And the sisters in the UPK had a section to themselves. We all was there, but the sisters had a section to themselves. And this lesbian, angry stud security guard tried to bully our sisters to getting up out the section. And of course, our sisters are no cowards. And so, of course, they like, we not going nowhere. You understand? You're unprofessional and you're wrong. And what you're saying isn't making sense. You understand? And so they called me over there. The sisters flagged me down. I walk over there, and all the energy, all that tough energy she had for the sisters, she didn't have it for an actual man. And I'm telling her to explain to me why these sisters have to move, and she couldn't explain it to me. And I told her to go get the owner. And the owner came over, and come to find out, they didn't have to leave the section like this lesbian security guard said we had to. Let me tell you something, man. And Atlanta is a perfect place to see this. The LGBTQ movement and lifestyle is a white supremacist lifestyle. You can't be pro-black and be gay or lesbian. There's no such thing as a black or Hispanic to be pro your people and LGBTQ. Because the LGBTQ lifestyle is white supremacist. That's what it is. And you'll see, you can see this all throughout Atlanta. Brother, the LGBTQ, they are nothing more than bullies. They are bullies, and they seek to just bully their way in their lifestyle and what they think and feel onto everybody else. And for a long time, it has worked. But the problem is you can't come up against God. And we serve God. And so you can't bully us, LGBTQ. We're not scared of being canceled. You would think by now, since 1969, we would have been canceled. We were cancelable. But you know what? You can't cancel God. They thought that they could cancel our king. They murdered Christ, thinking it would stop the truth. The Sadducees and Pharisees, the sellouts that were in bed with our oppressor, thought that they could stop the truth, that they could bully and cancel and literally murder the truth by murdering our king, the leader of the truth. And guess what? 2,000 years later, here we are talking about that very man who was put to death because of wicked sellout leaders. Thought that they can snuff out the truth and cancel the truth. Yeah, 2,000 years later, here we are, dressing like our forefathers dressed, talking like our forefathers taught, teaching what our forefathers taught, living the culture and lifestyle of our forefathers. You can't snuff the truth, and you LGBTQ in Atlanta, you tried so hard to bully us. You tried. You can't bully us. You understand? Go ahead, Shapat.
So like if I may, you know what I'm saying, back on the Passover, once that first person, the first leader of the fake Israelites groups left, he doomed everybody to never be celebrating the Passover because he left the body. And all of these fake Israelite groups come from that unloyal man teaching the unloyal men to break off and form other unloyal groups, breaking off to lead to the sister thinking that she's celebrating the Passover.
Yeah, that's right. King A in the chat said all the Israelite groups came from the I.S.U.P.K. That's just the truth. Anybody that's been around long enough and that's familiar with the Israelite community, it's just history. All the groups that you see today are just breakoffs of breakoffs of breakoffs. Sakari is a breakoff of GMS. GMS is a breakoff of House of David, I believe. House of David is a breakoff of the I.S.U.P.K. You see what you get. You see the byproduct of joining traders and breakoffs. You get a peg in your backside.
Right.
It's dangerous. That's a risk you might not want to run. You understand? Shalom Arawadi, I see you. Kelly Usual, I see you. You understand? Let's get Ezekiel 33 and 11, please.
I'm constant.
Now, here's the message to you fake Israelites like Alicia. Shalom, Shapar. I don't know if I got you yet, sis. Salaki, shalom. If y'all haven't done so too, hit that thumbs up, y'all. Like the stream and share the stream. We back from Passover. I know Passover was a beautiful vacation. It's back to real life. We got work to do, y'all. We got more work to do. You know what should happen? If we are putting in work the way we're supposed to, we should have double the amount of brothers and sisters at the Passover next year.
Right.
We have work to do, brothers and sisters. We enjoyed our vacation. We enjoyed seeing each other. It was a beautiful time. It was like a grand family reunion. But guess what? We're back to work. We have work to do. And part of that work is sharing these classes, liking these classes, pushing this truth to eyes that have never seen and ears that have never heard this before. That's our job. And if you're not liking and sharing, you're stopping the truth. That's what you're doing. You're stopping it. Don't be against the truth. Be for the truth. You understand? And the way you can do it, if you're not physically teaching, how we're teaching right now, you just share the class. You understand? You're not able to teach. If you're not able to come in and become a trooper and then become an officer and sit and teach, you understand? Then well, listen, share the class. Shapara said, I teared up about the. Well, I'm gonna let her finish. It might be a typo. Read what you got, please, Shapat.
Oh God. This is the bookie.
Sorry, she said, I teared up about 3 times this year. I feel you, sis. I feel you. It was okay. It was something special about this year. I can't put my finger on it. You understand? But all of them are special, but it was something just in the air this year where everything felt intensified. Like, I'm watching the marriages get blessed, and I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, normally I don't never pay attention to it like that. I was like, because that's nice. But I'm like, this year I'm paying attention. I'm like, this is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It was heartfelt. I'm watching, the Hebrew Academy. I'm just, everything was just hit extra close to home this year. So what you said, sis, is the truth. You understand? We're getting closer to the end, and the Lord is definitely pouring out his spirit on his people. You understand? And you're going to see us really come together and love each other in a way that our oppressor has feared this entire time. Since the days of the Greeks and Romans, they have feared us coming together and loving each other and having our hearts towards each other. They fear that. You see that brothers going and sisters going up there getting their marriage blessed, and they go up there with 2 sisters. Brother, do you know how strange that is to the world? For a man to take 2 women and listen, they not no freaks like Neo, the singer, and all these other freaks and deviants in the world that think they doing having multiple wives. They are homosexuals and lesbians. They are not following the culture according to the Bible. When you see brothers in the UPK have multiple wives, brother, that's what it's supposed to look like. You understand? And to see that brothers bring up their 2 ribs and to get their marriage blessed, and both of those women stand there with dignity and honor about their man. Oh, brother, Esau has feared that for so long. That alone is it scares the white man, because he has built an entire culture for black people about the woman not sharing her man and a woman being over a man. You know what you say as a woman when you stay with your man when he gets more than one woman? Anybody know? What are you saying? It's not deep either. It's not deep or superstitious. If you are a woman and you stay with your man when he gets another woman, what are you saying? And it's so simple, but our oppressor has made everything about society say the opposite of this. I'll be surprised if a sister could get it. Shalom, YAHANNA, I see you. Shapar said, you fear the Most High. That's an excellent answer. That's an excellent answer. Not the one I was looking for, but that's an excellent answer. As a woman, what does it say when a woman stays with her husband when he gets another woman? What are you saying as a woman? I'll give it to you for time's sake. You're saying that this man is in charge. In order for you to stay with a man that gets another woman, you are yielding. You are yielding. That's why if you ask most women that are not with the father of their children, or that are not with the first man they had sex with, or why they're not with many of the men that they've been with, they'll tell you it's because of what the world calls infidelity. It's because, oh, he was cheating on me, or he had another woman. A lot of you sisters, your entire life has been getting rid of men because of another woman. And what that has done is it has given you the sense of a false sense of power and a false sense of being in charge and independence. When that's not power, you're not in charge and you're not independent. You understand? You're destroying yourself and you're destroying your family. To stay with that man when he gets another woman, you are saying that this man is in fact in charge and he is in fact the head. And our oppressor has made sure that you sisters do not feel that way about Black and Hispanic men. That's why he has made it easier for you to go to school. He has made it easier for you to make money, to get in certain positions in his society so that you can feel more puffed up. You hear it all the time. How many of you type a one in the type of yes or no in the chat if you've ever heard this from a Black woman before? Black women go to college more than Black men. There are more Black women with degrees than Black men. Type of yes or no if you've heard that before. Alicia Giddings said, you I.S.U.P.K and there's multiple wives. I feel sorry for your woman playing Dumb and Dumber. Alicia, you sound like you don't even have a husband.
Right.
You understand? You sound like you don't even have a husband. And if you're looking for one, you're going about it the wrong way, baby girl. That's the wrong way to do it. You understand? Shapat is not going to take you acting like that. Okay, Alicia? Shapat will not have you acting like that, Alicia. You got to get it together. If you want Shapat, all you got to do is compliment his crown. That's all you got to do is compliment that glorious crown and be a damn sister. But you think arguing is how you get a man. It's not, right? Look at all the yeses. Shapat, Naimia, young man Kev, Arawadia, young man Steve, YAHANNA, Amanabaf, Black Dazzle, Shapara, Shalom Rakaya. Esau has allowed our sisters to gain certain leverage in his society over us. And okay, this is not to slight the accomplishments of sisters, because you understand a lot of you sisters have done well for yourselves in accomplishing these things. But for us to not acknowledge that there is, in fact, a strategic attack to make sure that sisters get over Black men, to act like that doesn't exist, you're an idiot. You understand? And a lot of you sisters have to remind yourselves, I've been able to reach these certain heights in society, not just off of my own merit, but because there is somebody that wants me to believe now that I'm over my male counterpart when you're not. You understand? The degrees, the money, the houses, whatever things in this society does not take away the position the Lord said you are in relation to the man. Shalom, young man, DeCarlo. Shalom, Rakaya. Shalom, Kazakwana. You understand? The man is the head. That's 1 Corinthians 11:3. The man is the head of the woman. There is no caveats or no stipulations to that. The man is the head of the woman. No matter how much money you make, no matter how much you know, how many degrees you have, or whatever things you hold valuable to yourself that makes you believe your value is more than what it may actually be. You understand? The man is the head. The man is that he can have no job, no money, no nothing, and he's the head. That's biblical. And really, if you weren't so invested in this society, you would look at a man for the things that actually matter. You understand? Does he serve the Lord? Is he a man that follows Christ? Here's the sad part. A lot of you sisters and a lot of you brothers too, because this is new trend, Shapai. I don't even remember when brothers start calling other niggas brokey and broke like a woman does. You understand? A lot of you brothers so effeminate. You talk about how much money a nigga got like he gonna take you out on a date. I mean, Drake had a song so he don't hang around broke niggas or something like that. And I was like, what? That sounds so gay. You understand? Like, as a man, why do you care if your friend is broke or not? You sound like a woman.
Right.
But a lot of you brothers and sisters, you wouldn't respect or honor Christ if he were on earth right now today. Because he doesn't have money. He doesn't have. Christ said when he was on earth, he didn't have anywhere to lay his head. You know what Christ would have looked like if he was here? He would have been staying on somebody's couch. I know that's hard for y'all to fathom, especially you Christians, you big-headed Christians. It's hard for you to fathom that your quote-unquote savior and the Lord of your life, if he were here today, he would be sleeping on different people's couches. That's the life he lived. Meanwhile, you demonize and you look down upon Black and Hispanic men that may live like that. Well, that's how our King lived. You understand? You think you don't understand what's important in life, and you don't know what's valuable. You don't know what true value is. Go ahead, Shapap.
Like if I may, I was talking to Officer Abuwaji this Passover. He was talking about how when he was in the world, you know, even just thinking carnally, he cut one of them Christian sisters, talking about, she had a personal relationship and with Christ. And then he was like, well, what was his shoe size?
Right.
And cut her all the way. He did like you don't even know his shoe size, but you had a personal relationship. Stop it. They would never deal with Christ if they seen him for real.
Yeah. You wouldn't have a personal relationship with a man like Christ. You understand? Many of you that claim to have a personal relationship, you wouldn't have a personal relationship with a man like Christ because he wouldn't be on your level in your mind. He would be a bum in your mind. You understand? He would be somebody that was beneath you in your mind. But guess what? Christ was the greatest man to walk the face of the earth, not because of what he had or didn't have, but because of who he was as a person. And because you're such a terrible person that has no character, you don't value those things. You know why? It's not hard to look at what it really is. If you don't have certain traits, it's going to be hard for you to value those things if you don't even know what it looks like and if you don't have it yourself. You understand? You don't value those things because you don't have them. You don't value integrity because you don't have integrity. You don't value honesty because you're not honest. You don't value sincerity and compassion and mercy and kindness because you have none of those things. So you wouldn't even associate with Christ if he were here on earth. You understand? Shaphat, give me Luke 9:58. You understand? I see you, young man Joseph. I see you.
So like if I may?
Yep, go ahead.
Did you want me to still hold Ephesians? We never read it.
Ezekiel? Oh, yeah. Get me.
Ezekiel.
My bad. Let's read Ezekiel first. Slack it.
Come on, sir. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 11. Say unto them, As I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel?
This is for all you fake Israelites and all you Christians, and you pride yourself on saying death to the tooth. I remember when I first came in, there was a group, brother, and that was like they damn near they catchphrase, they slogan, death to the 2/3. And like they were so proud to speak about the death of fellow Israelites. And I remember a lot of Israelite groups still to this day talk about that's why 2/3 got to be cut off. That's why 2/3 got to die. You so quick to talk about 2/3 dying and being cut off. Commander YAHANNA was the only one I heard say the Lord said he would destroy 2/3. But if he could help it, he would change those 2/3 lives so that they can serve Christ and they don't die. And I said, that's a man that has the spirit of Christ. That's the man that follows the Lord, because that's the spirit that the Lord had. You got to remember, the Lord is a father, and he's looking at all his children. You're an evil sibling if you want your sibling to die. You're evil. You understand? The parent just wants to discipline them so they can do right. The parent is not whooping the child so the child can die. You understand? That's not what a good parent does. And you're an evil sibling. You're an evil brother or sister if that's what's on your heart. When you see your sibling do wrong, and I hope they get killed for that. I hope our Father puts them in the grave for that. You understand? The Lord said he doesn't have pleasure in the death of the wicked. He would rather that you change and live. That's the whole point of this thing. If that's the case, the Lord had many opportunities to kill us off and start over. He was going to do it when we came out of Egypt. He was going to kill all of Israel and start over with Moses. And guess what Moses said? Fake Israelites. Anybody know what Moses said? Shalom, Nadabah, I see you. Go ahead, Shapat.
He said, well, think of your reputation. Like the heathen's going to say, hey, he did all that, brought him out of Egypt just to kill him. You know what I'm saying? We dampen his reputation.
That's right. Moses pled with the Lord. He pleaded with the Lord to not do it, to not destroy the nation of Israel. And Moses said to the Lord, listen, like Shapat just said, think about what the heathens will say, Lord, if you delivered us from the hands of our enemies just to bring us in the desert and kill us. They would the heathens would think that you are not the God that you say you are. The heathens would think that their gods are mightier than you. Moses pleaded with the Lord, and the Lord did not kill all of Israel and start over with Moses. The Lord gave Israel a chance to turn from their wickedness, because that's what the Lord prefers. You understand? I say that to say there are many of you in those fake Israelite groups, you understand, particularly the purple gay ones and the gay peggies, the peggers, you understand? I find it ironic that Sakari means daggerman, and they used to stab people in the back, and then the leader of Sakari is getting stabbed in the back. I find that very ironic. I don't know. I might be drawing connecting dots that shouldn't be connected.
Right.
You understand? But any of you that are in these groups, as long as you live, there's time. There's time to turn from your wickedness, and to be in any of those organizations, you are indeed wicked. You understand? You are wicked because your leader is wicked, and you are what your leader is. Alicia said, I don't have a husband. I'm all the Lord's. What do you mean I'm all the Lord's? What does that mean? And we knew you didn't have a husband, Alicia. Of course, we knew. You understand? Right. Thank you for confirming, but we knew that already. What do you mean by I'm all the Lord's? What does that mean? Shalom, Matayah. Go ahead, Shapat.
Salaki, I got a precept already for that. General Muhammad always bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead, Shapat, if you could.
Come, because if with me, what she's saying, she mean like her box is whoa. The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. where is the house that ye build unto me? And where is the place of my rest? And like the Lord, his foot sits on top of the earth. So how you handling that?
Right.
Cause
I'm curious to see what she mean by this. I don't have a husband. I'm all the Lord's. What do you mean by that, Alicia? King A. Shalom. This is, oh, okay, that's Andrew Dean, young man Andrew from Baltimore City. Shalom, brother. Shalom, Akira. You understand? In the meantime, let's get the Luke, scripture in Luke.
You never said it, sir. Luke
9:58, please.
58.
If y'all haven't done so, hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, and share the stream.
The book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 58. And Jesus said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head.
Do you understand how heavy this is? When you really think about, and you got to understand this, because when we think about Jesus Christ, there's certain, we don't really take into account what his life looked like when he was on earth. When I say we, I'm talking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I say we to not exclude you, because again, we all, you know, we want you to turn away from your wickedness. But we in the UPK, so we do consider these things, and we do teach Christ's life when he was on this earth, because it matters, and we live like Christ. But if you grew up in church like I did, we were never taught what Christ's life looked like, and that matters. How can you have a whole entire religion based off of being like Christ, and you never go into what Christ was like and how he lived? Wouldn't that matter? Well, Christ said right here, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but the Son of Man have nowhere to lay his head. He's telling the disciples, you understand, that he himself, the animals, have a place to stay. They have a home. Christ didn't have a home. He didn't have his own place. Now, put that in your chest, you Christian dragons. Put that in your chest. Your whole measure of a man is what he had. You don't got your own place, you dummy. If Christ was on the earth, you would call him a bum. Put that in your chest. You talk about you love Jesus. You don't give a damn about Jesus, because if he was here, in your mind, he wouldn't be worth your time. He wouldn't be worth being with somebody that's a boss bad B like you. Yeah, you're the lowest of the low. You understand? And once again, because you don't have the characteristics that Christ had, you don't appreciate him. You don't appreciate Christ for the things that you should appreciate Christ for. You didn't appreciate the fact that he was an honest man, a man of integrity, a man of compassion and mercy and patience, a man that followed what the Most High said. You overlook those things in a man, and you go straight to what our oppressor has deemed to be important. This is not to say that money doesn't matter. That's not what this is saying. The scripture says money is a defense, but in wisdom is a defense. But through wisdom is the excellency of life. Meaning there are many things more important than money. And Christ is the perfect example of that. Christ didn't even have anywhere to lay his head. He was somebody that slept on whoever's couch in the town he was in. Well, it's what they call that, couch hopping or couch crashing. They had a whole term for it. You ain't gonna keep couch hopping and house hopping over here. You have to get your own. We are so detached from what we're supposed to be as a people. So detached of how we're supposed to be and what we should value. Even to the point of the whole idea of kicking your kids out at 18. For what? For what? What does that prove? Like, really, I really want to hear the breakdown of a parent that believes that. If you are a parent that believes the kids got to leave at 18, type in the chat, why? I want to hear the logic behind this. Why? Why do you teach that? Or why do you believe that a kid has to leave the house when they graduate high school or when they turn 18? Why? Shalom, Princess Nayum, I see you. Tell me. Because I don't know if you all know this, but we are, I ain't gonna say we're the only people that do this because that's a lie and that's internal racism. But that culture has been placed on us more than anybody else. And I'm not just saying that to say it. I've been around other cultures, many various other cultures, and they don't believe in kicking their children out the house when they graduate high school, when they turn 18. They don't, it doesn't make sense. Like, for what? But only us, we believe you can't be in here as a grown adult. You can't be in here there's not even a logic to it. It doesn't even make sense. If the point is to make them go out and be successful, then wouldn't that make more sense to let them stay there longer? Like I can understand if your logic is I don't want my child to grow up to be lazy. You had 18 years to work on that. Who they are at 18 is pretty much is it. You understand? So if they're lazy at 18, that's a reflection of you already. Kicking them out does what for the situation? There is no logic to it. I'll tell you. Anybody know why we teach that in our community, in the Black and Hispanic community? Anybody know why we teach that kids have to leave the house at 18? Anybody know why? It's very simple. There is no logical reason. It doesn't make sense in any situation. You understand? Almost any situation. Why? You know why we teach that? As a community, Trooper Ragash said, Salaki said, my mom used to always tell me it starts at home. I never knew what that meant. Yeah. Everything starts at home. That's why growing up, they used to call it home training. I don't even hear that phrase no more. I was like, man, you ain't got no home training.
Right.
Man, act like you got some home training. You don't even hear that phrase no more. It's something that has gone out the window. It just doesn't even exist anymore. Like, man, act like you got some home training. You understand? Nobody know? I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from our slave master. Kicking your kids out at 18 comes from your slave master. Esau has taught us that we're not allowed to now stay together. You know why? Because if you're talking about building wealth and being successful, that's how you do it. You don't do it by kicking your kids out. You do it by letting them get a chance to build and to accumulate and not have to pay for as long as possible. The fact that we got to break that down lets you know that we do things and don't even know why, and it doesn't make sense. It goes against what you're trying to teach. If you wanted your kids to be successful, you would allow them to gain as much money without having to pay things for as long as possible. But of course, we don't do it for that. We do it because this is what the white man says is what has to be our culture. And he hasn't drilled it in our heads that so much so, but that guess what? Even the child, when they turn 18, if they still live at home, you feel like a bum. If you still live at home, you feel like a failure. Let me tell you something. White people and Asians live at home at 35, and they do not feel like bums. They do not feel like failures. You know why? Because they have been able to accumulate and build whilst being at their parents' house. You understand? Where was I going? I was going somewhere with this. Where was I going, Shapat?
Slack, I don't know where you were going.
I know. We was at Luke 9:38, right?
Come.
Right. There are things that we are taught to value. Things that we are taught to value from our oppressor that mean nothing. You understand? It means nothing to the Lord. And we're going to go into it because this is how you breed a sellout. In order to breed a sellout, you have to create an artificial value in something, and something that the sellout thinks is more valuable than the thing that is truly valuable. That's the first step in creating a sellout. Think of the things that most people sell their people out for. Money. Money doesn't have a necessarily real value. How do you know? What's the proof that money doesn't have a real value? What's the proof? You might got to be familiar with geopolitics to answer this one. What's the proof that money has no real value? Type in the chat. Go ahead, Shapat.
Because you can have it one day and not have it the next.
Not only that, that's the next part. That's the second thing I would have said, but there's something right before that. Shapar said, "Can't give you life or stop death." That's very true. You understand? That's a real wise answer. But this is more straight to the point. Here's the proof that the money has no real value, because they can change the water amount of bath. When it gets short, you just print more. It has no value. That's it. The fact that it is the value of it is different depending on where I go lets me know there's no real value to this. How is it that this is this much here and then this much there? There's no real value to it. And your entire life has been built around suffering and sacrificing for this thing. The thing that really, the value depends on what the person who creates it says it is. So meaning your life is dictated by the white man. You understand? I just did algebra right there, Shapat. A plus B equals C. The white man prints the money. Your life is all about getting money. The white man controls the money. That means your life now is all about serving the white man. Money shouldn't be the goal. You understand? When I say money shouldn't be the goal, meaning, again, I'm not saying to despise money. I'm not saying that to forego. I get it. But if you are somebody that's seeking to accumulate wealth and money and possessions at the expense of your people, you have lost sight of what's valuable. If you're seeking to gain money and wealth at the expense of your family, you have lost sight of the goal. You've lost sight of the whole plot. You're off track. And that's what sellouts come from. Men and women who have been so torn from the right path that they lose sight of what the greater perspective is. That's right, young man, Kev. It's just paper with an oppressor's face on it. You understand? Like a lot of us, you spend your whole life trying to get money and at any expense. At any expense, when the whole point of getting money is to be able to do what? I thought it was to enjoy it. Was to enjoy it with the people you love. Was to enjoy it with your family or the people around you. But our oppressor has turned us into people that disregard and mistreat those that are around us and that we're supposed to love for the sake of money, for the sake of possessions. You're a sellout. And it's easy to call out sellouts online, and that's in your face when you're a sellout. You go to that slave every day and you're a sellout. You mistreat the people around you for the sake of a paycheck, and you're worse. You're a worse sellout because you're not getting paid sellout money. You understand? You're getting the rations of a slave and you sell out. You understand? Like, you have to have some integrity at some point. At some point, you have to say, okay, this is not worth this. I will not do this for this. That's not worth that. I'm not going to do that. At some point, you're going to have to. You understand? Amon Abab said, if you will cross any line to get the dollar, you've lost everything already. That's well said, sis. You've lost it. You've lost sight of what's important. You've lost sight of the goal. You lost sight of the plot. And so Shapara said, I needed this. My son is about to graduate. You're dropping big jewels. Most High in Christ. We all need it because it's very easy to happen. You understand? I'll give you a perfect example. Us making it down to Atlanta for the Passover. You know how much, don't tell me how much you spent, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us have spent nearly at least $1,000. You understand? Surrounding the Passover week. You understand? You know how easy it is to get down to the Passover and look at how much money you spent, and you got an attitude the whole time you're there because of how much money you spent. I know that sounds strange to y'all because you are true brothers and sisters. But that's what happens with people outside of here. You spend that much money to go to do something, and the whole time it's just a reminder of how much you spent. And you got an attitude because of how much money you spent. And this costs so much. And the whole time, that's all you hear somebody talking about is the money they spent, the money they spent. And guess what? The whole time you're there, you're mistreating and neglecting the people that you're supposed to love and have, and have a good time with. That's what happens in the world. That's a worldly event where everybody just complaining about how much money they spent and everybody is uptight and upset and frustrated. And so now everybody mistreating each other because of how much money you spent. Brother, I did not hear not anybody, and I've never heard anybody since I've been to school. I've never heard anybody during the Passover week complain about how much money they spent. Never. I've never heard it. And if you hear somebody complain, just know that is not the UPK standard. That is not normal. You understand? They got some more growing to do. Don't look at them effed up. You understand? But just know if you hear somebody complain about how much money they spent, they got a lot of growing to do because we don't do that in here. Brother, once we get there, all that go out. Once I told you, as a lot of y'all came up to me, once I seen Young Man Kev and Black Dazzle and Amanabaf and Nayum, you understand, and out of your not, brother, all that went out the window. You understand? What we talking about money? I made the money to spend it to see y'all. You understand? Like you can't lose sight of the whole purpose, the whole plot. You understand? And that's why it's such a beautiful thing. The Passover is supposed to put you in the right spirit. You understand and understand why we did what we did. A lot of people might forget, brother, that Passover is us commemorating when we all together were going to die that night. You understand? Or we were going to all be free the next morning. That's in the Bible. You understand? That's in the Bible where they said, listen, whatever happens, we are going to be like partakers. Whatever happens, we all going to share in it. Whether it be good or bad, we are in it together. That is the perspective you have to have. And focusing on your own money and your own problems and your own possessions and how much you done lost or gave. Nigga, we all done gave. We all done lost. We all spent hella money. And I would do it again next week if I had it, to have another Passover. I don't know about y'all, brother. If I had it, I would spend right now to have a Passover next week because it's worth it. Because in here, we understand where the value should be on each other. All we have is each other. When the money goes, guess what you'll have? Brotherhood and sisterhood. And I'm not saying that to just say it. I'm not saying it for it to be hyperbole. I'm telling you, there's a day that's going to come when that money in your pocket. I think I got a 20 in my pocket right now. Hold on, that's rare. I'm usually broke. What's wrong? Right? There's normally, let's see, there's gonna be a day, brother, where you're gonna have these, and it's not going to mean anything. I'm telling you right now, the day is going to come where your whole life was built around getting this, securing the bag, getting this, and the day is going to come very soon in this place called America, where that is going to mean nothing. Now, let me ask all of you who made your entire life about getting this at the expense of everything else. What will you have in that day? What will you have? You've placed all your value around getting this, around securing this at all costs. You have nothing in that day. You have nothing now, but in that day, you'll be able to see it come to fruition. Meanwhile, us, we'll have what we always had, each other. Go ahead, Shapat.
So if I could paraphrase real quick the precept, and in that day, I make a man more precious than gold.
The water. That's what the Bible says. In that day, I'll make a man, not this, not this. I'll make a man more precious than fine gold. Brotherhood is a weapon. And you should focus on investing in that. Focus on investing in the brotherhood and the sisterhood, because that is the only thing that keeps its value. It's the only thing that holds its value. Everything else, the value goes up and goes down. Brother, we can wake up tomorrow and this 20 can be worth 10. It's damn near worth that right now. The $20 is not the same $20, brother, 20 years ago. 2025, 2005. We ain't got to go that far back. 2015. This does not have the same value it had 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You should open your eyes and see everything for what it is. You understand? This can change in a heartbeat. You know what won't change? The thing that Christ laid his life down for. The thing that Christ understood what was valuable. Precept. Precept. The thing that Christ laid his life down for. The thing that Christ knew what was valuable. Precept. If somebody get this 20 is yours. You get this right. This is your 20. I'm going to find a way to get it to you. I don't think nobody going to get it. Not a bus says, Salaki, I don't know if I spoke to anybody in this class at Passover. I saw a different family each day. I know, sis. That's how it was. There's a lot of y'all I didn't get a chance to, see. I say it was so many of us that, you seeing somebody new every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's too wild. And listen, it's only going to get bigger and bigger. Oh, give Black Dazzle a hand. Oh, give me John 15 and 13. That's right. I didn't think nobody was going to get that one. Here's the proof of what I just said. Here's the proof. This is what Christ himself said. If you want to know what's valuable, if you want to know what life is all about, here's what our King said, Christians. You call yourself Christian, meaning you're a follower of Christ, but you do nothing Christ does. You don't think the way he thinks. You don't live the way he lives. You don't care. And I wish you would just tell the truth and just come out and say it instead of fronting. That way we can all be on the same page. You don't really give a damn what Christ stood for. This is what Christ knew. This is what Christ understood. So much so that he laid his life down. Read that, please, priest.
Come on, sir. Book of John, chapter 15, verse 13. Greater love have no man than this.
Greater love have no man than this, meaning there's no love greater than this. This right here is the epitome, the pinnacle, the top of love. Please.
That a man laid down his life for his friends.
Keep reading.
Come, cause ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things have I heard of many of my Father, I have made known unto you.
Christ was a hell of a brother, man. I could have imagined what it was like being around him, and then I don't have to imagine too hard because I've been around Commander Junior YAHANNA. You understand? It's not hard to imagine what Christ was like when you've been around Commander Junior YAHANNA or any of the generals or captains. You understand? Christ said, no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And Christ said, those that do my will, the will of my Father, I call you friends. I don't call you servants because servants don't know what their master does. I call you friends because whatever my Father tells me, I tell you. That was what was important to Christ, so much so that he laid his life down. You know, Christ, he could have not been killed. You know that, right? You know that. Christ could have fought back. He could have absolutely fought back. He said it himself. If this were my kingdom, my servants would fight. He could call down a legion of angels to fight the Romans. You think they wasn't ready to fight? Peter cut the ear off the damn police officer, the Roman centurion.
Right.
They was trained to fight. Christians, you make Christ to be some soft gay man. Everybody around Christ was hardcore. Every last one of them. They were men that were despised because of how just rough they were. The type of men that a lot of you Christian women really hate. You hate to see niggas like us. This nigga, he talked too loud. He got too much bass in his voice. Lord forbid that beard grow too thick. Yeah, I think the Lord, my beard growing in thicker. I want my beard to be offensively thick, Shabbat. You understand? I want to look like a damn. I ain't gonna say that. I want my beard to be offensively thick. You understand? Want to just see it. I just like a damn grizzly bear, because I know that's to you. That's offensive to you because you think that the men that follow Christ were soft men, gentle, sweet men that were bald-faced and clean shaven and wore suits, when that's not who they were. Yo, man, Kev said, if I may, sir, please send that 20 to the school for my rib. I got you, brother. Say less. I got you, young man, Kev. Well done. Give him a hand. I will do that tonight. Shalom, Barak, when I see you, sis. You understand? Christ understood how important brotherhood was. Christ didn't die for money. Christ didn't die for wealth or possessions or worldly gain. Christ laid his life down for the one thing that he understood was greater than everything: your love for your brothers and sisters. And without that, you have nothing. You have nothing. Don't deceive yourself. Don't deceive yourself. All your nice garments, all the time you took into getting fresh and fly, and you hate your brothers and sisters, it means nothing. You did all of it for nothing. If you don't love the people that Christ said to love. And that's so hard for us as a people to hear, because our entire lives is built on not loving each other. Our entire lives is built on survival. Well, I gotta survive. I gotta make it. And so when you're in constant survival mode, you're evil to everybody around you. Because all you're thinking about is how you feel and what you need. The Lord told us that we are to love each other. And in order to do that, you have to come out of survival mode. You're not the only one with problems. You're not the only one that's suffering. You understand? You have to consider those that are around you. And I'm proud of all of you brothers and sisters that were at the Passover this year, because that was the entire vibe the whole time. You understand? That was the entire vibe. And I'm on Shamar too. So I want y'all to know I get to see a lot of the things that y'all don't get to see. And it was a beautiful, beautiful time. You understand? That was the spirit of this place. Everybody was considering each other. And that's what this is all about. Because in us considering each other, guess who we're considering? Shapat?
Christ, when he said, drink of my blood, so I'm drink the wine of my blood. The blood is my wine, and the bread is his body, because he wanted to be there and he knew he wasn't. So brother, party, when y'all partying, y'all drinking and y'all eating, think of me.
Shapat, brother, you amazed me just now, because I was going to ask for the precept and I didn't know you was going to even pull the precept. That's what Christ said. Christ said, you do this in remembrance of who? Me. And us observing the Passover and treating each other with love and kindness, we're not doing that for, I don't know why, what other reason you'll do it for, but Christ said, you do this in remembrance of me. And you all honored Christ at that Passover. This whole week, you honored Christ, man. And that's not a small thing, because nowhere on the face of the earth is our King honored. He's only honored in the UPK.
Right.
You understand? And that's why we need more brothers and sisters to come in here and teach them the ways of our King. Because imagine if our entire Black and Hispanic community was like the Passover. Imagine if our whole community was like the Passover week. What are you talking about? We would have the kingdom in hell. We would have the kingdom. Go ahead, Shapat.
Like if I may, all the days included, but at the Passover, I had more fun than I had at any Passover ever. That Passover was like that.
Right. It was it's a special this year, brother. And once again, all of them are special. And it really just seems like they get better and better each year. Right. That's really what it seemed like, which means, you understand, I can imagine what that Passover going to be like, the last one. You understand? The last one on in this captivity. You understand? Shalom, Rakaya. Yo, McCare said, if I may, I truly enjoyed chopping it up with Officer Shapat Dayak, my man. Damn right. Damn right.
Same here if I could. Same here. You know,
well said.
It was a surprise if I made. It was a surprise when he came up to me. He was like, "Hey, it's the young man Cam." I said, "Oh." You know what I'm saying? Like I immediately I was saying, okay, I know he brought Black Dazra, but man, sitting there chopping it up with him, like just to see him right there in the flesh, like, and he was happy to see me. I was happy to see him. There's nothing like that feeling right there.
That's right. You understand? It's authentic. You understand? And here's the thing too: it's gonna feel awkward at first to meet people you never met. You understand? And once again, there's so many. Esau has messed with us in so many ways that we don't even understand yet. Even the culture of social media, they call it social media, but really it makes you antisocial. You understand? All you have to do is look at a party now versus a party 20 years ago. You understand? Esau has created a culture where we are not as social as we used to be. And Commander YAHANNA brought this out years ago. Israel is a social people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are a social people more than anybody else. Like we thrive on social gatherings. We thrive on being social. But everything in his culture is meant to make us be antisocial, to not want to be around each other, to not want to come together, to not want to partake with one another. Even, let me ask you this. When was the last time any of you sat down with your whole family to eat dinner? When was the last time? And I ain't trying to shame nobody because it's been a long time for myself. When was the last time any of you have sat down with your whole family to eat dinner? Now, some of you that's young might be like, what are you talking about? That sounds strange to you. When many of you may not know that was the norm. Not too long ago, that was the norm. To sit down or at least a good portion of your family, because of course many of our parents had to slave away and slave. You understand? But it was the norm to have the majority of your family sit down and eat dinner. Your man Joseph said Passover. That's an excellent answer. Give him a hand. You understand? That's an excellent answer. You're right. Now I can say that too, young man Steve. Excuse me, young man Joseph. Passover. That's the last time. Sharon said it's been a while. Yeah, me too. Young man Steve said concert without the cell phone. Damn, you add that in. I don't think nobody has done that. You understand? Young man Ked said since I was 7 years old. See how long it's been for so many of us. Kira said, Salaki, sir, if I may, will there be unleavened bread at the school tomorrow during class? If not, I will make some tonight to bring to the school tomorrow. It would be excellent to still make some and bring, because the more the merrier. I made some tonight, but that's the reason why we going remote, because myself and Officer Shapat, we're a little underneath the weather, and again, we don't want to infect anybody else, so that's the only reason why we went remote tonight. You understand? But normally, I would make some bread. I made some bread already. I'm gonna do a video too, y'all, on TikTok. Y'all look forward to this video I'm gonna do. It's gonna make Jewish people mad. It's gonna make them real mad. You understand? I made a video. I'm gonna upload it after this class. I made some bread. I was gonna bring it into the class like I normally do, but again, we underneath the weather and we don't want to infect our brothers and sisters. So that's why we're going remote. But if you are whatever zone you're in, it's always tradition that you make unleavened bread and bring it in. I remember one year my real made some bread and everybody thought it was leavened because it was so good. It was like, this is you sure this unleavened? I'm like, yeah, she said it was. She said I had to go back and ask her. I'm like, you sure? You sure? Because this was like cake. But you know, a lot of people don't know. If you make it a certain way with eggs, you understand, and you whip it and all that. There's a certain way you can make it where it still is nice. You understand? Go ahead, Shapat.
Sorry if I may. Was it Officer Warrior who made unleavened bread last year?
Yes.
Yeah, that unleavened bread was fire. You know what I mean? And when I heard who made it, I was like, for real? Like, I didn't know he got down like that.
Oh, yeah. So YAHANNA made some too.
It may have been him.
I think that's who it was. Officer YAHANNA from Trinidad. He's up here right now. You understand? In the States, rocking and rolling with us. Whenever, so I don't know if y'all know this about brothers from the tribe of Benjamin. You understand? Brothers from the tribe of Benjamin, brother, they cook. You know, they put brothers from the tribe of Judah to shame because brothers from the tribe of Benjamin, they cook. And that's one thing I have noticed about them. They are going to cook. And every time SWAP come up, brother, he cooks every day. Like it's the norm. I'm like, damn, we living wrong up here. You understand? We ain't living right up here, man. You understand? Because it's strange for me to see a cooked meal every day, but that's the norm. You understand? Again, it goes into more how Esau has tried to remove the things that will make us social. You know what brings people together? Food. Fresh cooked food. Even the process of cooking is a social process. You understand? Like, once again, you have to kind of grow up and seeing it. Even the process of cooking in itself is a social process. You understand? It to smell you, it fails. It never fails. You in your room, brother, and you get the smell of something going in the kitchen. Everybody just somehow find their way to the living room or the dining room. You know what I'm saying? And we just want to be close to the kitchen. And some of us like to be in the kitchen. I used to stand in the kitchen watching my mom when she was cooking. You understand? It's a social thing. Go ahead, Shapat.
So like, and that's one way I was taught that like a prophetess doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? You see two young men arguing. She ain't up there trying to act like she dropping knowledge on them. She's like, look, come in. Come put them in the house, make some fried chicken. Next thing you know, they ain't got no problem with each other.
That's right. For all you sisters that think you a prophetess, that's what Deborah did. You always want to compare yourself to Deborah. Shalom, Yaquar. I see you, sis. You always want to compare yourself to Deborah in the Bible like you some prophetess and you want to try to teach the Bible. Nigga or nigress, that's not what Deborah did. She wasn't trying to teach. Deborah was Big Mama. She made food and made them brothers that was beefing sit down and eat. And many disputes have been resolved over a good cooked meal. You understand? Again, there's things that our oppressor has taken from us that it's a part of who we are. And just having a home cooked meal, it will change things. It will change things significantly. Just watch, especially you sisters that got husbands. Watch how your husband acts towards you if you cook a home cooked meal every day of 1 week. Just do an experiment. You understand? I ain't saying this got to be the norm, but just cook a different meal every night and see how he's different. Not on purpose, but just it's something about it, brother. We are sociable people. You understand? And again, there's certain things that make you more social. Eating, cooking food, eating home cooked food, sitting down together, all that is part of our culture. It's the white man's culture to eat fast food. It's white fast food. It's white culture. It's not black culture. Fast food was created to make sure that you can have a shorter lunch period time so you can get back to work. A lot of people don't even know that. Fast food was created because white people did not want to give you enough time to go back to your house and have to warm your food up in the oven and have lunch and then come back. The white man wanted you to stay on the clock for as long as possible and stay in the building when you worked. And so fast food was created with something where you can eat standing up. You didn't have to have utensils. You didn't have to sit down. You had to put the napkin on your lap or in your shirt. It's finger food that you can eat with the luxury of just your fingers, and you can eat it fast. You understand? And that's how fast food was created. It was created to make slavery more efficient. It's not our culture. You understand? And that's why a lot of you that grew up on fast food, a lot of us that grew up on fast food, you can kind of see where there's certain things where you're socially awkward because you didn't get those social cues of socializing early on. Learning how to socialize first starts in the household. Sitting down at dinner and talking about your day, talking about your feelings, talking about the things that you felt. That learning how to socialize as a child around a dinner table is very essential to your growth. And that's why a lot of us are now socially awkward. You weird in public settings. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to go about having a conversation. It feels strange because a lot of us didn't get that home training because it was stolen, robbed from us because the white man is the devil. You understand? Gary said, Shalom, I was talking to some Israelite group and they gave me a Hebrew name. Is that name official or can it only become official from I.S.U.P.K? Gary, that's an excellent question. And you came to the right place to ask that question. There is only one faith, one baptism, one spirit.
Right.
And anything outside of that is not official. Go ahead, Shapat. I'm gonna get you a precept.
So like I was wondering about the question and stuff. Like, was you just having a conversation with him and they just gave you a name, or did you like join their ranks and over time they study who you were and gave you a name?
It sounds like he joined their ranks. And he says, I was talking to some Israelite group. And when he said talking to, I'm assuming that he's saying that this was something that he did over time. Now I could be wrong. But for them to give him a name, I'm assuming that this is a group that he was once a part of.
Right.
Any name outside of here, let me help you too. Just on another tip. Nobody studies the ancient Hebrew except the UPK. Everybody else has some type of bastardization of the ancient Hebrew. We have the Lashawan Kodash, the holy tongue. Anybody that you hear use Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah Brakatah, they learned from the UPK through a breakoff. All of that comes from the I.S.U.P.K. We are the foremost experts on the Lashawan Kodash. You understand? So even if you did believe, but not you, Gary, but those of you that believe your group has the truth, the name you have is not even real Hebrew. I'll give you another example. Look at the names of them fake Israelite groups. Abiel, that's not Hebrew. You understand? Yisrael's not even Hebrew. Yisrael, to put a Y in front of Israel, comes from the white man. That's Yiddish. So anybody outside of the UPK, they don't teach the actual Hebrew that belongs to us. They teach a bastardization of that, which comes from the white man. On top of that, the I.S.U.P.K is the only home of the truth. Anything outside of here is just a Christian organization fronting like they're Israelites. And I don't have to go too much into that because you see what's happening. You see what's coming out about these groups. You know, you had a whole group that their leader was being pegged. His wife was putting a strap on and going in his backside. And he's teaching about the Bible, and his wife is doing that to him behind closed doors. You can gamble if you want to. The Lord said, make your election sure. Here's what the other Israelite groups will tell you. They don't say this not too much anymore because they didn't got cut in saying this. But when I first came into the school and we would battle fake Israelites, Shapat, they will always say, y'all not the only ones with the truth. They will always say that, Shapat. They would always say, y'all not the only ones with the truth. And I guess they caught on to what they were saying because when people like me and myself and the men above me would debate them, we would say, nigga, you just admitted we had the truth.
Right.
And so in them saying it, I guess they kind of got wised up and stopped saying that. You understand? But not too long ago, and I ain't been in the truth not too long. I've been a good amount of time, but brother, recently, you understand, up until recently, all the fake Israelite groups used to always come online and say, y'all not the only ones with the truth. Well, here's the problem with that, fake Israelites. You just admitted that we have the truth. You, as a fake Israelite, and me, in the truth, both agree that the truth is in the UPK. Why would anybody go outside of that when we're both sure about that? You understand? Like, we don't agree that you have the truth. You think you have the truth too. I don't. We both agree that the UPK has the truth. So the Bible says, make your election sure. I mean, to me, it's only logical to go with the thing that's sure. If the fake Israelites say we have the truth, it means the UPK. If a fake Israelite says the UPK has the truth, and us in the UPK say we have the truth, I mean, what more do you need? We have the truth. You understand? Gary said they are always outside my house teaching. So I stopped the chat sometimes, and they were like, I need to have a name, and gave me one. I said, I need to see what I.S.U.P.K said. Gary, what is the name of this group, and what city are you in? You understand, Gary? We're gonna get you locked in with the priests and prophets of the Lord. You understand? Because what's going on there is you're being predatorized by men that seek to make you join their sex cult. And I know that sounds extreme. Some of y'all like, these niggas always sound extreme. And then guess what? We always be right.
Yeah.
We were calling the purple Israelites, we were calling them a gay group. And a lot of y'all thought we were hating on them. And then it came out. Their leaders sent their leaders sent the men underneath him a penis pic. And all the things that's going on. Yeah, see, what we say a prophecy always sounds strange when it's not fulfilled. Yeah. The prophecy is always going to sound far-fetched or strange when it's not fulfilled. But the thing is, it's when it's fulfilled is when you understand. When you don't have to be like that. You can just believe the prophets. You can believe the prophets when they tell you every other group is not in the truth. Every other group outside of the UPK does not have the truth. You understand? Where we at? If you could, Shaphat, get me 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 24. 1 Corinthians 11 and 24. If you haven't done so, make sure you like and share the stream. You understand? Everybody that's tuning in, type a fire emoji in the chat. Everybody that's tuning in, type a fire emoji in the chat. Let's see who all we have in the chat. Who all we got rocking and rolling with us. Type a fire and emoji. Can't even talk, brother. A fire emoji in the chat. I see you, Amanabath. As always, hold it down. It's General Hazayan Rib. Young man Kev, I see you. Adolphus Laz, Nadabah, Trooper Ragashia Allah, Naimya, Shapara, Black Dazzle, Shapat Dayak, Ida Yana, Arawadia, right? Kelly Usual, Barack Wana, General Q Rib. All right, read what you got, please, Shapat. Young man Steve, Megan Dyer. Please read what you have, Shapat.
11 and what, sir?
11 and 24.
Come, sir. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 24. And when he had given thanks, he break it and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me."
This do in remembrance of me. You understand? This is important to understand. Christ observed the Passover. You're going to see the world celebrate a false god this Sunday under the auspice of Easter. I see you, Gary. I see you, Sharon Thomas. You're going to see the world ignorantly. Well, for most people, ignorantly, but there are people who understand exactly what they're celebrating, and they're not going to care. You could tell a Christian Easter has nothing to do with Christ. Easter was celebrated before Christ. It has nothing to do with the resurrection. And they're going to say, well, that's not what it means to me. You know who says that? That's not what it means to me. Child molesters say that.
Right.
When child molesters molest children, and you tell them they're wrong, and this child is underage, they're like, well, that's not what it means to me. No. I just want to love this child. No. Brother, that's what you sound like, Christians. You do an evil thing and you think that you can be passed for that evil thing because of your understanding of it or what it means to you. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Celebrating Easter in any form, regardless of what you think it means to you, is celebrating a false god. And many of our people are going to ignorantly celebrate a false god this Sunday. Christ didn't celebrate Easter. I thought the whole point of this thing was to be Christ-like. That's what I thought. Christians, it's in your name. I thought the whole point of this was to be Christ-like, was to be like Jesus Christ. So tell me, at what point in the Bible did Jesus Christ celebrate Easter? What scripture? Tell me, at what point? And you won't find it. Even the one mention of the word Easter in the Bible in Acts, it's translated to Passover. And Christ observed the Passover. Is everybody familiar with the Last Supper? That famous picture that most of our grandmamas or moms had in the house with the 12 disciples. It was supposed to be the 12 disciples sitting behind the table. And, you know, they all sitting in the Last Supper. Yet we were never taught. Type a yes or no in the chat. Type a yes or no in the chat. Before hearing the truth, did you know the Last Supper was the Passover? Type a yes or no. Did you know the Last Supper was the Passover? That last time that Jesus Christ ate with the disciples. You understand? Well, he had this conversation with the disciples and said, you do this in remembrance of me. Hold on, Shapat. I'm coming to you, Shapat. Look at all the no's. Look at all the no's. Trooper Ragash, Young Man Kev, Black Dazzle, Sharon Thomas, Not Abad, Maria, Barack Wanad, Naanya, Shapara, Young Man Steve, Adi Yanab, Young Man DeCarlo, Megan Dyer, Kelly Usual. I didn't either. And I grew up in church. You understand? Arwali, he knew. That's too wild. I grew up in church. Was in church about 5 days out the week. My whole life up until I was able to leave the house and then subsequently leave the church. You understand? Because as soon as I got in the door, I left the church. You said, but my whole life up until me staying, you know, in my mom's house, I went to church about 5 days out the week, 4 or 5 days out the week, brother. And we were never taught this. All that time we sat listening to that pimp nigga lie and philosophize and finesse money out of you simple sisters and you homosexual brothers. They never taught us anything about Jesus Christ. We were lied to. We were lied to. And, you know, omission is lying as well. We were lied to through omission. We were lied to through misinformation and disinformation. They didn't tell us the truth. If you go read in the Bible, it tells you clearly they observed the Passover. That's what the Last Supper was. You don't believe me? Let's get it, Shapat. Let's get the priest. Go ahead, priest Salakia.
Like, if I may, now I'm about to say we got 2 yeses, and I would have said yes too, but like before the truth, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? It'd been lie. Right. If I may, before that, Christ gave the order for Peter to go slaughter the lamb.
That's right.
For the Passover. You know what
That's
I mean?
right. It's right here in the book, but we didn't know it because we weren't taught the book. They had the book, but they never taught it to us. Give me Matthew chapter 26, verse 1. Amanabab said, I knew because of independent study, not by the preacher. I understand. Rakaya said no. Adolphus Lass said yes. I'll show it to you. It's been in the book the whole time, Christians. We didn't make this up. I know y'all see us dress the way we dress, talk the way we talk, and break down the scriptures the way we break it down. And you think it's a new thing. You think it's a new thing that we're doing when you don't even understand we're doing the old thing, the thing that the Lord told us to do. Remember the paths of old and the ways of your forefather. You're doing that new thing. We're doing the old thing. We're coming back to the culture of our king, of our people. It's been in the Bible the whole time, you dummy. But you want to act like somehow we got this new translation and new understanding of the Bible. No, we have the truth, and the truth has never been any different than what it's always been. Jose Figueroa said, I'm going to be 100. I used to celebrate Easter, but when I learned the truth, I stopped. Brother, we all did. I'm pretty sure almost all of us celebrated Easter at least once in our lives. You understand? We didn't know no better. We were lied to. Our religious leaders are sellouts, and that's what the Christian church breeds. It breeds sellouts. Men who don't have a moral compass, men who don't have a spine to stand on what's right, even though they know their church congregation don't want to hear what's right. Every Christian pastor is a weak, spineless coward, because in order to really have integrity, you damn near won't have a church. because our people don't want to hear the truth. And the Christian church, the Christian pastors, they're very aware of that. They are some of the most astute, the most keen, you understand, some of the most aware businessmen in our community. Christian pastors, they are very aware of your needs and wants and desires. But they don't give you what you need. They give you everything you want. And they know to teach the truth according to the Bible is not what you want. But instead of being a man of courage, a man of war, and standing up in that pulpit and going to war with that congregation and saying, y'all, some of y'all gonna leave, some of y'all gonna get angry or try to kick me out, but this is the truth and we're gonna teach it from here on out. Instead of doing that, they cave in every Sunday and teach what the congregation wants. That's why they teach it. The pastors don't teach what they believe, brother. They don't teach what they want. The pastors teach what the people want, and that's why it changes over time. You can look at the Christian church today versus the Christian church 30 years ago, and it's different. They don't really teach the same things because what people want changes. And the church is just simply here to fulfill the want, the desire of the people. That's not, unfortunately, that's not what serving Christ looks like. These words didn't change. And Malachi, the Most High said, I change not. These words don't change. The Lord says, any man that change or takes away or adds to these words, he will be punished. It will be taken away or added to him. This has always been here, brothers and sisters. I'm going to read it for you right now. Go ahead, please.
Book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 1. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover.
Stop. And Christ said to his disciples, he talking to the men that follow him, his students. And he's saying to them, you know, after 2 days is the feast of the Passover. Meaning he's saying, you know, in 2 days is the Passover is coming up. Keep reading.
God. And the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified.
Right. You understand? Hold on. Stop right there.
Cause.
Right. So now you're reading that the time period where Jesus Christ would be betrayed would be the time period of the Passover. That's why that Last Supper was Christ last time being with the men that followed him and listened to him and hung on to his every word. That's what made the Passover so much more glorious and heartfelt. Because, brother, can you imagine? I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to speak it. But just imagine somebody you love, you at the Passover, and you have knowledge that this Passover is the last time I'll be with these people. Imagine if you had knowledge of that. Like as we in Atlanta and you talking to everybody and you see all this gloriousness and we enjoying ourselves and you have knowledge that this is the last time I will be with these people. Brother, that's a hard thing. That's a rough thing. And guess what? Our King Christ was such a soldier that he still made it a good time with those disciples. He still broke bread and had wine and taught them in the last moments of him being with his brothers and sisters. Christ didn't make the Passover about what he wanted and what he felt and thought. Christ made the Passover about his goddamn brothers.
Right.
He made it about them. What greater love than a man to lay down his life for his friends? Christ understood this will be the last time that I would sit with these brothers and be here with them. The Passover. He sat down and he broke bread, and that's why he told them as he was breaking bread, that unleavened bread, he told them, do this in remembrance of me. He told them that when you observe the Passover, Christ is telling you that you have to think about what I did. Think about me and why this is going to be the last time I see you. That's what Christ said. Do this in remembrance of me. And in the I.S.U.P.K, we have the Passover every year in remembrance of our King Christ. And Christ wanted us to love each other. That was the whole purpose. That was the whole reason he laid his life down. He didn't lay his life down for us to not love each other. That's not what he did. He didn't lay his life down for our marriages to not work, for us to leave each other, for us to hate each other, for us to have broken families and raise single family homes and kids. That's not what Christ died for. Christ died so that we could understand in that last moment, God damn it, I'm doing this so you remember me. If not anything, you know how people say, if you could just remember this one thing I ever told you. That's what Christ was saying. In this last moment, brothers, I'm telling you, do this, please, in remembrance of me. Meaning, love each other the way I'm going to love you by laying my life down for you. And all of you brothers and sisters that was in Atlanta this past April 12th, you have shown and honored our King by loving each other the way Christ told us to do it. And brethren, that's why everybody that was there said you can feel the Spirit of Christ, and not the Christian way, not no spooky way. You understand? There's a lot of feelings in the church, but no action. You could feel the Spirit of Christ there because you've seen the actions. You've seen what love looked like. Love is not spooky. Love is not a feeling. Love is action. You can quantify love, meaning you can put what you can place a value to love, a tangible value. Oh, I know he loved me because he paid all this money to get here, and he ain't complaining to me about it at one time. He treating me like he didn't spend no money. Like you could quantify the love, and we all treated each other like that. And that's what Christ, that was the whole mission of Christ. The problem is every other group and religion spits on the sacrifice that our King laid down. That's what you do, because you don't teach love for each other. And that's the whole basis of this thing. You know his disciples by if they love each other. That's what Christ said. You know them. You know who serves Christ based off of if they love each other. And you talk about how everything you do for your organization, everything you crying online talking about everything I do, I did for y'all niggas. Everything I did for y'all. You wasn't thinking about your brothers when you let your woman go in your behind with the strap. You couldn't have been thinking about your brothers when you did that. You couldn't have been thinking about your brothers when you sent a penis pic to all the leaders in your organization. You couldn't have been thinking about your brothers. You could have been thinking about your brothers when all those boys was molested in your church. You couldn't have. You couldn't have been thinking about your brothers when you was teaching false doctrine and having ham for your so-called Passover. Anything outside of the I.S.U.P.K teaches against Christ. You understand? Teaches against our King. You understand? Teaches against what Christ said. You understand? Young man Care said, if I made the great feeling of masculinity. That's right, brother. You understand? There's a certain love that it's a masculine thing. And it's not masculine for sisters to have it. Meaning real love is what you've seen in the UPK. It takes a certain level of action that most men are not willing to do. Most people are not willing to do. To really exhibit love takes some guts. It takes a certain level of vulnerability, first of all. And many of you are so destroyed and broken that you're not willing to be vulnerable enough to love anybody except yourself. But here's the good news. There's hope for you. Christ died so that you can change. And not only did Christ die so you can change, Christ's death solidified that you owe him to change.
Right.
I don't think people quite grasp that concept. Christ died that so he died to give you the opportunity to change. And at the same time, his death at the hands of those filthy gay Romans, his death was the guarantee that you owe him. We owe him now. It's not an option. You got little things, you got afflictions that you battling, demons that you think is so hard. Who cares? I'm gonna tell you straight. I'm just gonna tell you as a big brother. Who cares? Christ died, man. He died. He laid his life down. He wasn't weak like you. He didn't succumb to his afflictions. He was tempted just like you, and he fought. If you should have died, I should have died. We didn't die because he died. Fight your goddamn demons.
Right.
Fight your demons because Christ died so that we could. And we owe it to him. We owe it to him. We owe it to him. And the more we love each other, brothers and sisters, you're going to see our King return. And that's the whole goal, ain't it? All this talk about the kingdom of heaven, it ain't coming by us hating each other. It ain't coming by secret beefs, secret animosity. That's not how the kingdom gets here. You don't think the angels is giving a record? The angels see how you really feel about that brother or that sister. They giving a record that you're fake and phony. You're slowing us down. You have to be authentic in here. You have to be sincere in here and fight those demons and work on truly being someone approved of our King so that he can come back and finish the work. You understand? Spot, you got the security announcements?
Lahasa. I got a picture of it somewhere, but
okay, I'm gonna give you a chance to find it. Everybody, we haven't done this in a long time. Everybody, type in the chat. Type your tribe in the chat. You understand? Type your tribe in the chat. Type a 1W and then type your tribe in the chat. Let's see who all we got up in here. You understand? We had a lot of different tribes at the Passover this year, but again, so many new faces. And look, it is so beautiful to see the tribe of Issachar coming through. If you're Mexican and you happen to be watching this, you better come up in here, man, and join your brothers. Mexicans are niggas too. Mexicans are God's chosen people.
right.
El Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Panamanians, Hondurans. You are God's chosen people too. We are 12 tribes. There are 12 different tribes that make up this nation. If you're watching this and you hear my voice, you better come up in here and join your brothers. That's not an option. We waiting on you, and we love to see you. And it's so beautiful to see more of the Hispanic brothers and sisters coming in here. You understand? Probably let me know when you find it. I'm gonna read some of these tribes off.
I got it, sir.
Okay. Let me read some of these. Young man Kev, one West Yahawada. Yahawada is Hebrew for Judah. The tribe of Judah are your so-called Negroes. Naimya Yahawada. Young man Steve, Judah. Amanabaf Yahawada. Kelly Usual. Yahawada. Megan Dyer, Benjamin. Hebrew for Benjamin is Banyamyan, and that's anyone from the West Indies. You understand? Anyone from the West Indies. Nadaba Yahawada. Black Dazzle Yahawada. Dolphins Lash Yahawada. Adi Yana Yahawada. Young man DeCarlo, Judah. You understand? Rakaya Banyamyan, that's Benjamin. That's the West Indies. Jose Figueroa said one West Boston. Well, your tribe wouldn't be the city. Your tribe would be, according to the Bible, based off of who your father is. You understand? So Jose Figueroa, what is your father's nationality? Where's your father from? You understand? That determines what tribe you are according to the 12 tribes in the Bible. You understand? So Jose Figueroa, what is your father's nationality? Right? Bobby Prasad said, rabbits don't lay eggs. That's right, brother. Rabbits do not lay eggs. With that, we're going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shapat Dayah.
The I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. Rules for new brothers and sisters. Chill out. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shade themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced ma'ashera. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Feast of unleavened bread, which we are in right now. To the 15th day of the first month for 7 days. Sunday, April the 13th until Sunday, April the 20th, 2025, sundown. You can find this in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 17 through 20, and Leviticus, the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 6 through 8. Slide. You want to add anything, sir?
No, that's what I answer Jose Figueroa. Puerto Rico, your father's Puerto Rican. You would be the tribe of Ephraim. Jose Figueroa, you will be the tribe of Ephraim, or Aparium in the Hebrew. That's the Puerto Ricans, the tribe of Aparium in the Hebrew. You understand? Sister Nayam on West Gad, that's your North American Indians. The tribe of Gad are the North American Indians. Young man Joseph, I see you, Judah. Please, let's finish.
Come, sir. Remind Ahmed Akwati to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black. It includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black hairband, or scarf. And with that, I say Amayim, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amayim, Barak, Yahab Hashem Yahushua Brakatah.
Yahab Hashem Yahushua Brakatah.
Yad Yamatar, class dismissed.
Damn right. Probably you can just turn your leave the studio, Baba Kashah.
Carson.
The water priest.
Come Carson.
Baba Prasad said one West Bunyamyam, that's Benjamin, West Indies. Shalom, Israel. We out.